guys, welcome to This Week on the Challenge with me, Adrienne. The show has finally kicked off. Season 35 of the challenge, Total Madness, kicked off on April 1st and is here to give us something to look forward to during this time of COVID self-isolation. Because let's be honest, all of us are really sitting home watching a ton of movies, watching a ton of TV shows, and I'm so happy that this is something we have to look forward to every week. The show starts off with this action movie sort of scene where we have all of the contestants on this plane. There's even like red light and all of them are looking super serious and really intense, and flying to the location, everything's super dark, so it just makes it look really intense. And I was really excited because this was an hour-long episode, so I thought it would be filled with a ton of content and also lots of time showcasing the challenge, the actual challenge. But really, I thought a lot of it was actually filled with some filler material, especially these shots of action movie type shots I thought were just such filler, and I really wanted to fast forward through them, but I didn't because I was afraid I was gonna miss something. But yeah, I really didn't care for these sorts of scenes. But anyways, they get down to the ground, they meet TJ, and TJ welcomes them to the challenge, and he says that the grand prize at the very end is going to be $1 million. And this is going to be an individual challenge. They'll be placed in teams or pairs occasionally for the challenges, but ultimately this is going to be one person winning $1 million, which is a huge amount of money. It's totally life-changing. It makes me feel like, yeah, why they train so much out of the challenge really makes sense at the prospect of winning this $1 million. So anyways, TJ kicks off the challenge with an actual challenge called Battle Lines. And the way this works is that they stand at this line, they have a 50-foot rope connected to this barrel of medical supplies. They pull the barrel, they have to solve a puzzle, they run to another line, they pull the barrel, they solve a math equation, run to another line, pull the barrel, grab the barrel, and then run it to the very end. So he says guys are up first. What he failed to mention actually was that he would be driving his tank through the field, crushing any barrels on the field at that time. And if you're crushed, you're instantly eliminated. So he did that to the first group of guys and instantly eliminated 5 of them. And he was laughing so crazily and so maniacally, that he was just having the time of his life. And so they were going through the challenge. People were slow, so TJ was instantly eliminating them with his tanker. And the last 3 guys standing was actually CT, Rogan, and Fessy. And out of those 3, guess who won? Rogan, the most annoying player and person that I really didn't want to win. He ended up winning, and Kyle was heartbroken, and so was I, because I really don't like Rogan. I've said that on this channel before, but I really don't think he's a great competitor. Maybe, clearly I can't say that because he won this challenge, but I just really don't like him. And so after that, next up were the girls. TJ, driving his tanker through that field, instantly took out 7 girls in the first round, which is crazy. And the final 2 for the girls were Dee and Jenny. Jenny ended up winning, and she absolutely crushed this challenge. The way they edited it actually made it look like she possibly even did better than some of the guys, and she really got screwed last season when she was put on Team UK, because you see this season how strong she is and how she is going to be a really fierce competitor. So definitely someone to look out for. TJ then says that Jenny and Rogan make up 2/3 of the tribunal and that they have to choose a 3rd member. They ended up choosing Corey because Rogan said that he's someone that he doesn't know super well, but he knows is going to be a good competitor, so he wants to align with him, which I think is really smart. So yeah, Corey makes up the 3rd of the tribunal. TJ then says that the house has to nominate 1 person to go into elimination. The tribunal will interrogate 3 people and choose 1 out of those 3 people to face off with the nominee in the elimination. So very similar format to what we've seen in previous seasons. They're going to keep the same thing going because I think it's been working well. So the next scene is a shot of all of them running through this bunker house, which we've seen in the previews as being this scary, sad, terrible place to live with poor living conditions, and they even run into the first room, which is filled with bunk beds, and there's like a toilet roll, a bar of soap, and like a towel on their bed. So really showing that they're really gonna have to ration, and as if there's not gonna be anything enjoyable in this house. And as they keep running through the house, it opens up into this huge living space with a huge like area with gym equipment and a field. They have a huge kitchen, they have foosball tables. Like, it is not poor at all. MTV literally duped us in the previews, making us think that they're actually going to be living in poor living conditions, which I was so excited because that's part of the challenge. You know, you really want to make them miserable on top of having to compete in all these challenges. So I was actually excited for that, and MTV totally duped us in the previews because they are basically living in a mansion just underground. So that was not cool, MTV. And then next, you know, we get some scenes of conversations between people, which set up the storyline for what's going to happen later this season. So we have this montage of Bananas and Wes talking, and it's revealed later this season that they're planning to work together because they finally realized that going after each other has gotten them eliminated so early in the season for the past few seasons here. And so they're gonna work together this season to try to make it all the way to the final, which I think is gonna be really interesting to watch because these two really hate each other. Like, even back in the early days, like, they've never gotten along. They've always been on opposite sides, and I don't know if they actually get along in real life, and maybe this is just them having the rivalry on the show, but, you know, 10 years of intense hatred for the other person is going to be really difficult to overcome. So I think it's going to be really interesting to watch throughout the season to see how these two work together. And then we have a shot of this triple girls alliance, so made up of Nani, Kayla, and Jenna, who are really good friends in real life. They're going to be watching out for each other's backs throughout the game, so they're definitely an alliance, the three of them. And then we see Big T, who's so sweet, and she thinks that Ashley's really taken her under her wing. So she's so excited to like have a big sister or someone to look up to in the house. And then cut to Ashley just saying that, you know, she's just being nice to everybody so that she can strategize, you know, forming an alliance and protecting herself, which I just thought was really funny because that is so Ashley's gameplay. It's just doing whatever she can to get to the final. But there was poor, you know, Big T really thinking that she made a friend. And then we have Bear, who's now into Kayla. Remember, he was totally into Georgia for the previous 2 seasons, so kind of sad that, you know, Bear wasn't totally into Georgia even after the show ended, and that he so quickly jumped onto Kayla. Kayla says that she does have a boyfriend and she's not going to be into that, but in the season preview, they did show that Kayla was hooking up with Bear, so that clearly did not last very long. And then next we get to the nomination part. Johnny kicks it off as if he's the leader and then instantly says, CT, what do you think? Obviously, so that whoever CT picks is going to end up holding a grudge against CT and not Johnny. Johnny again showing himself as a coward. I always think that Johnny's such a coward player in this game, and that was so clear to me. And so CT goes around, he says he's not going to vote for Fessy because Fessy was strong in that first challenge. He's not going to vote for Swaggy because Swaggy comes with Bailey, who, you know, is so terrifying and all this, you know, scary and whatnot. He's not going to vote for Asaf because Asaf is now tattered to Nani. And, oh, I forgot to mention the Nani and Asaf moment that they were having before. So she was saying he was so cute. She was trying to give him advice about living in this house. And then later on in the episode, they were already shown kissing and making out in bed. So it really didn't take them long at all. It was like day 1 and they were already making out and, you know, coupling up. So they were definitely together in the season, which is why CT didn't want to vote for Asaf. And so that meant that he was going to be voting for Jay. And then Jay says, hey, you know, there are 3 other rookie guys. Why don't you vote for Swaggy, Fessy, or Asaf? And then Wes kicks off the vote and votes for Asaf. They all go around the circle between Asaf and Jay. It's actually pretty close with people voting between them. Finally, when they get to Bailey, I have to note there was this moment where she really had to go, did you point out that there were 3 other rookies so that you could throw in Swaggy? And Jay was so taken aback. Jay was like, no, I was simply just pointing out that there were 3 other guys that you guys could vote for. And she was like, okay, I just wanted to make sure. Ugh, my vote is for Asaf. And I'm like, girl, what's the point? Like, you just did that for TV. But I really do think that's just her personality, which is so abrasive. But I mean, I guess it makes her drama on the show. But yeah, they go around the circle. When it finally gets to Asaf, Asaf actually throws his vote to Wes, who he says has been sneaking around the house. I don't know what Wes has done in the house to make Asaf think that, but that was such a big move for Asaf to vote Wes in, and this creates, like, you know, an argument right away, obviously, with Wes calling Asaf, you know, he's a follower, he's not a leader, blah blah blah. They end up arguing, blah blah blah, whatever. Asaf ends up being nominated, so he's going into elimination. The next part is the tribunal, who ends up picking Jay, Kyle, and Wes to be the top 3 that they were going to interrogate, which meant one of them would be going into the elimination. So first up is Jay, who is so chill, he's so calm, he seems really level-headed and really logical with his gameplay. So I actually really like him from this clip of him in the tribunal talk, in the interrogation. And then we have Kyle, who comes in and tells Rogan that he's not going to vote for him if Rogan doesn't vote for him back. And he says all of this with like this smirk and smile on his face, so it's so unbelievable, but it's just funny to see those words come out of his mouth. And then we have Wes, who says that, you know, he's been known for having this reputation for the past 10 years, and that's not really how he wants to play anymore. And I don't really know what that meant, to be honest, but yeah, I don't really know what that meant. But we finally get to the elimination. All 3 of them, Corey, Jenny, and Rogan, vote for Jay to be in. So it's instantly Jay. TJ introduces this elimination arena as the Purgatory, and the game that they were going to play was called Airstrike. So they start by hanging on this like trapeze bar with this glass like wall between them, and they were supposed to kick this wall any way they could, but the goal was to get the other person off this bar. So really, you know, you can kick, you can do whatever, all you want to do is be the last person hanging onto that bar. And so the first round starts, Asaf starts kicking like a madman, okay? He's like kicking this wall, it's like flopping everywhere. Jay's basically just hanging there like a cool monkey, you know, he's just chilling. It's like he's not even doing anything, he's really just chilling. And cut to Jay, who's like really kicking like crazy, and Jay is Asaf is kicking like crazy, and he's really throwing himself against this thing. And a few minutes later, Asaf drops because he's so tired from the kicking. So clearly Jay's strategy of just hanging there is working. And so second round goes up, Asaf adopts Jay's strategy, and it was going to be a challenge of just seeing who could hang onto this bar the longest. Few minutes go by. I don't actually know how much time elapsed, but Asaf ended up falling off and Jay won the elimination. So just like that, Nani's boy toy was instantly eliminated from the challenge, unfortunately, and Jay gets to stay. So TJ announces too that on all of their helmets, some of them had a certain logo, and some of them had daggers on them, meaning that they won a championship. Others had a red skull on them, so Jay's had a red skull on it, meaning that he's won an elimination, which was his ticket to the final. Basically, you can't get into the final without a red skull on your helmet, meaning you've won an elimination. So that was a big twist in the previews this year. Everyone was super excited to see that twist because that meant you can't float on or skate on by anymore. And there was this funny clip of Rogan saying, "TJ, were you talking to me?" Which is so funny because at least he's self-aware. I mean, he sucks, he's a turd, but at least he's self-aware that he tried to float and play a scared game last season. So I'm glad he acknowledged it. And yeah, that was the end of the episode. We ended off with some previews of the season that's to come. So I took a few notes on this. This is all I wrote. More filming like a movie. Stop this shit. Jordan and Tori arguing. Kayla cheating on boyfriend with Bear. Wes and Banana still working together. Preview didn't tell us much. So, clearly didn't tell us very much about what was going to happen the rest of the season, which is totally fine because I don't want them to spoil what's going to happen. I wanted to toss this in here if I had time, but I basically wanted to come up with this rating of how well you think you would do in the challenges as a normal person. So I want to rate myself on how well I would do in these challenges. As a regular person, I go to the gym a few times a week. I'm not lifting crazy weights. I'm not running marathons, but I mean, I'm active. Like, I stay active. And I have normal fears as a person of different things. So I'm just wondering how regular people would perform on the challenge. So in that first challenge of battle lines, I think I would be able to solve the puzzle. I would be able to solve the math equation, but pulling that rope thing would obviously be difficult. I think I would be able to make it past the first round where TJ drives his tank over, but I really don't know about that. So I would rate myself maybe like a 2 or a 3, maybe a 2 on this challenge out of 5. And that last elimination, airstrike, where they have to hang in the air, I mean, oh my gosh, one of my biggest fears is heights, and I have terrible upper body strength. Hello, these are nothing. And so I would fare terribly on that challenge. Like, I would not kick for shit to try to get the other person off. I would simply cling on for my dear life. Ooh, and one more thing, I have super sweaty palms, so I don't even know how they managed to cling on there for such a long time. I did see that they used some sort of chalk or powder on their hands because it was white when they gripped the bar, but no, that I would definitely fall off from like sweaty hands. Not even that I can't hang on there for such a long time. So I would definitely give myself a 1 out of 5 on that challenge. But let me know in the comments below how you think you would fare out of 5 on the challenge. And I also want to know like what your level of athleticism is, because I want to be able to benchmark myself and see how well I would do. So yeah, let me know in the comments below. See you.